Good day, everyone. Welcome to Real Conservative News. I'm your host, Nathaniel Rajkumar. Starting off locally here in Trinidad and Tobago, former Minister in the Ministry of Finance, Mariano Brown, is warning that employment losses in the bar and restaurant sector are an important signal as he responded to reports of multiple closures in the leisure sector. Brown noted that while the numbers being bandied about, closures remain a small fraction of roughly 25,000 business establishments nationwide. Failing retail demand has broader implications. Now, people will say that is just the narrative being pushed by the PNM. It's reality. It doesn't matter whether it's being pushed by PNM or an independent or UNC, somebody like myself who has been voting UNC my entire life. What he's saying there is a fact. My response, once upon a time, matter of fact, it was just last year, UNC understood the fact that when prices of products increase, sales will reduce due to the lack of purchasing power amongst the middle and poorer class in society. Why is there a lack of purchasing power? It's because salaries haven't significantly increased. And yet, the cost of all these goods and services continue to increase rapidly, significantly, sometimes even doubling, especially because of double Kamla, Prime Minister double Kamla. The sad reality is that many small bars and mini-marts will close their doors. And I've been saying that from the very beginning when I heard Tanco decide to increase the price of alcohol and so forth. A lot of these little mini-marts and so, they depend on the sale of alcohol to make most of their profit, not just normal groceries. People go to purchase beers and rum and whatsoever from these establishments. And probably, so I said the sad reality is that many small bars and mini-marts will close their doors and probably have already begun to do so because their sales have significantly decreased. When will we stop focusing on politics and instead hold our leaders accountable for their actions, even if you are a UNC voter? And I'm telling you, I personally know individuals who have supported UNC them as well. Not only family, friends I'm talking about, people that I've known for years. And they are disappointed in what is taking place. A matter of fact, it had two individuals in San Grande that I pleaded with to vote last year. You know what they're telling me now? They said, and this is why I told you I did not want to vote. Very, very good friends of mine. And they're right in what they're saying because people are feeling disappointed. Yellow could never be the code if the cost of living and unemployment is rising. PNM destroyed TNT. We all know that. PNMites know that. PNM patriots know that. PNM destroyed TNT, but UNC isn't making life any easier for the average citizen either. Commissioner of Police Alistair Guevara has no intention of stepping down or bowing out, despite mounting calls for him to be removed as head of the country's leading national security agency. We need to start a petition online, people. Guevara, when confronted with the online furor over the police killing of Joshua Samaru and calls for him to step down over his handling of it, said there's no need to step aside. Extending condolences to grieving families, he said the loss of any life is sad and regrettable. He urged the public to trust the robust systems in place as simultaneous and independent investigations into Samaru's killing continue. And yet you already made certain types of statements in the public domain. Up to now, you haven't apologized for that. Assuring that the TNT police service was cooperating fully with the professional standards of Bureau. Yeah, right. I suppose I really believe that. And the police complaints authority in the probe of the matter. So then why were we told that that the officials in the police complaints authority weren't even able to interview the surviving victim days later from what I heard from a news source online? Why? That's how you cooperating? My response, are we supposed to trust the same system which is failing to ensure that justice is served when it pertains to police-involved incidents? The Commissioner of Police expects us to be satisfied with this new public response, even though the officers involved in the killing of Joshua Samaru haven't been suspended, pending the outcome of a thorough investigation. That's all people want at this point in time, you know. Although, if a normal rival gang had committed this crime, right? Or if a gang member or a normal individual had committed this crime, they would have already been detained. But police officers, no, they're free to continue to even work. They're not even suspended. People, we need police reform. We need the TTPS to be sick. I've been saying that even after Kamala Persad won the elections. I said there's need to reform the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service. And I've been preaching that for many years now. Works and Transport Minister Jerlene John says she's awaiting expert assessments on the MV Blue Wave Harmony after the vessel sustained hull damage in Scarborough. John said certified welders were dispatched to Tobago yesterday as officials tried to determine how quickly it can return to service. Now started, people, just a couple days now, servicing the people of Trinidad and Tobago. Asked directly how long the vessel could be down for, John said she could not yet give a time frame because she was still awaiting the technical evaluation, but said early steps were already taken to begin repairs. In a media statement, the Port Authority of Trinidad and Tobago said the Blue Wave Harmony left Port of Spain on Thursday for its second sea trail sailing to Scarborough, and that an incident occurred during berthing maneuvers, resulting in the damage to the vessel's hull. The authority said only the crew was on board at the time. It added that there were no reports of injuries and the vessel was secured alongside a berth and was stable with immediate safety protocols activated. The Port Authority said preliminary information indicates weather conditions, including strong winds, were contributing factors, and that technical teams are conducting damage assessments in collaboration with the vessel operator and the appropriate agencies. Yeah, but don't we always have bad weather and strong winds and stuff like that? All of a sudden, this just happened, so I find this strange. It also said port operations at Scarborough linked to scheduled inter-island ferry sailings continue to operate normally, and that further updates will be provided. Former Grenadian Prime Minister Dr. Keith Mitchell has officially announced his retirement from active politics, ending a parliamentary career that spanned more than 4 decades. Let's hope that he actually retires and doesn't do like Rowley and continues just speaking all the time as though he's still the Emperor of Trinidad and Tobago. Mitchell, 79, made the announcement on Thursday night, naming acting clerk of Parliament Dr. Adrian Joseph as his successor and caretaker for the St. George Northwest constituency, which he has represented since 1984. I was only 2 years old back then. Addressing supporters in the constituency, Mitchell reflected on the trust placed in him by voters over the years, noting that he served as their parliamentary representative for more than 40 years, and as Prime Minister for a combined 23 years. I wish him all the best. I don't know much about Grenadian politics, so definitely, and it doesn't even really matter anyhow you take it. Somebody's going into retirement, you wish them the best. Senior Minister in the Office of the President with responsibility for finance, Dr. Ashni Singh in Guyana, has underscored the need for careful management of Guyana's oil resources, highlighting the risk of relying too heavily on volatile global oil prices. During a recent interview on Hits and Jams 94.1, following the representations of Budget 2026, which allocates 1.558 trillion Guyanese dollars for the fiscal year, Dr. Singh said Guyana has entered the oil and gas sector with what he calls a late mover's advantage. Of course, definitely, this is why I continue to say that diversification is important. And that is something that the Irfan Ali administration is doing really well. They're using the energy sector as the backbone of their economy, rightfully so. But they're not just saying, you know what, we're just going to focus on just enjoying the wealth being obtained, generated from the oil industry. No, we're going to utilize these funds in order to expand the agricultural sector. So we become self-sufficient in food production and also building the tourism industry. Yes, people. Diversification, and this is what Trinidad and Tobago should have been doing since in the 70s and 80s and so forth, when there was the oil boom. But no, by the time 1986, Trinidad was bankrupt, and that is why NAR ended up winning the elections. Robinson ended up winning the elections. But then, of course, since then, it's just been a shift between UNC and PNM. UNC was doing exceptionally well in the 90s. Kamala Pasabi says also did exceptionally well from 2010 to 2015. Now, not so good at all. Not so good. Jamaican economist Dr. Warren Smith, a giant of regional development and former president of Caribbean Development Bank, died on Friday. The institution has announced the Caribbean has lost a giant of the development movement. However, the work he began is now ours to carry on, said Daniel Best, the current president of the Development Finance Institution, in a statement. Of course, condolences to the friends and family of this individual. Residents of Darlaston, Westmoreland in Jamaica are expressing deep concern over the closure of the local post office, saying that the move has placed a dreaded financial and physical strain on pensioners, PATH beneficiaries, or PATH beneficiaries, and postal workers, particularly in eastern sections of the parish. People already have to be trying their best to recover from Hurricane Melissa, and now this type of issue is arising. Come on, government, Andrew Holness. I'm telling you, you need to step up your game. I like him to an extent, though. I really do. I really do. As I'm getting to know more about the politics in Jamaica, I like certain things about him. But I really do believe still that I think he was in office for the past 10 years. The performance was quite mediocre. You need to step up your game. International news now. Mexico's relationship with its ally Cuba is at a critical crossroad. The country has had a long-standing policy of selling or even donating oil to Cuba, but this may be changing amid growing pressure from the Trump administration. You made an agreement with America and now you want to be violating it, Mexico. You can't be like that. It's either you want to have benefits with America or you don't. Nobody could force you, though. You simply would have to just break the agreement that you have with America. I think that between America and Canada and Mexico. The revolutionary government of Cuba has also condemned the new escalation of measures by the United States government aimed at restricting fuel supplies to the country. My response: when democracy is restored in both Venezuela and Cuba, people, diplomatic relations with the USA will be normalized, which in turn will benefit all countries in the region, including Mexico. Mexico, you're supposed to be standing with your greatest ally, America, not with Cuba at this point in time. I'm not saying that of course, we have to pray for our brothers and sisters in Cuba, but we also have to pray for democracy to be restored on that island. So I went on to say, let me read that over. When democracy is restored in both Venezuela and Cuba, diplomatic relations with the USA will be normalized, which in turn will benefit all countries in our region. Isn't Mexico a democracy as well? Not so? If so, then they should be supporting the Trump administration when it pertains to this issue. Sanford and Son actor dies at the age of 79. Grady Desmond Wilson, best known for playing Lamont Sanford, the son of Fred Sanford on NBC sitcom Sanford and Son, has passed away. Wilson's son, Desmond Wilson Jr., tells TMZ he was pronounced dead Friday morning at his home in Palm Springs, California. He passed away from complications related to cancer. Desmond didn't reveal the type of cancer he had. He told us, "I loved him. He was a great man. We all loved him. We all grew up on Sanford and Son, looking at Sanford. I'm talking about my generation in the 80s. And of course, even my parents enjoyed looking at that show as well. Condolences to the family. I think the entire world feels this loss. Closing off now with the interesting facts segment. SpaceX is exploring the possibility of launching AI data centers into orbit to solve some of the biggest challenges currently facing the tech industry. As artificial intelligence continues to grow at an unprecedented rate, ground-based data centers are consuming massive amounts of electricity and requiring extremely complex cooling systems to keep hardware from overheating. Space provides a natural solution to these issues with its near-infinite vacuum for cooling, of course, and constant, unobstructed access to solar energy. Wonderful initiative, people. Sounds like a great idea. But remember, as born-again Christians, we need to continue looking and observing really carefully. We are in the end times, people. Biblical prophecy appears to be being fulfilled at an exponential rate now. Folks, that brings us to the end of today's news report. Thanks again to everyone who continues to support my content. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Stay blessed and stay safe most of all. In Jesus' name.